live.
Oh, we are back.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody from beautiful Airdrie, Alberta. It's a sunny and amazing day today. We hope you guys are having a great weekend so far. It's the start of a new week.
Yes.
Yeah, so thanks so much for joining us. We are your favorite power couple, Agape and Akin. Yeah, we are here again to share with you guys as promised. We want to just sort of come here and inspire you guys on a daily basis and just share with you different things that have helped us along the way in our business, in our family life and stuff, but mostly in our business as well.
So,
Yeah,
life happens to everyone. But
yeah.
how do you overcome and keep going?
Yeah.
In the beginning, when we talked about the entrepreneurial journey, we were like, what are we going to do? How are we going to find our way? Who's going to show us the way? Who's going to mentor us? And we found all of that in our community, And so in the beginning, I think 2 things or 3 things we had back then was our pain points.
We had our big why we wanted to change our lives.
Yes, and then we had the courage and the strong desire to make that change.
Yeah. So let us know where you're tuning in from. We are from Airdrie, Alberta in Canada, like I said in the beginning. So let us know where you're tuning in from. We'd love to know where our viewers are from and just connect with you guys that way and celebrate, our different connections. Yes. So today we are going to be sharing with you guys some of our success mantras. Yes. Some of the things that have kept Aki and I going, that we just look at these words and say, okay, you know what, this is it. Like, this is what we're doing and this is what we need to continue to work on, right? Now, number 1 is consistency.
Consistency.
So, yes, for us, we believe that consistency breeds success.
Yes.
Right?
Or if I want to say it the modern way, I say consistency brings success. She says consistency breeds.
Yeah.
Consistency brings.
Exactly. So it's the same thing in the sense that, if you really want to be successful in anything, you've got to do that thing over and over and over again to be successful in it. You don't just do one thing one day and expect, and the next day you wake up and be like, oh, that thing didn't work, right? You've got to do it over and over, even building a habit as well, right? You've got to do that thing over and over, exercise over and over, go to bed early over and over, eat
Wake
good
up
food
at the same time,
over and over, for you to get used to it, for your system to get used to it, for you to say, okay, you know what, I've got this thing down to a science and I can just do it without complaining about it, right? And so same thing, even in business, you've got to show up for your business. No matter what you're doing out there, you've got to consistently show up. Now, even if it wasn't business, if we're talking about your 9 to 5 or your job, right? If you don't consistently go to work, one day your boss is going to call you and say, you know what, you've missed 20 out of the 30 days that you're supposed to be working. So therefore, we probably won't be paying you this month because you were more away than at the job that we hired you for, right? And so that's just the basic way of looking at consistency, is that if you want to be successful in something, you've got to do it over and over and over again to see good success.
And I remember the definition of a farmer. Who is a farmer? Someone who plants, waters, and keeps doing that and over and over and over again. Well, thank you to farmers. If not,
we wouldn't have food on a consistent basis.
Exactly.
All right. So
the second point.
Ooh, I choked over there. Yeah, the second point for us is mindset. We always say success starts in the mind.
If you think you can do it, yes, you can do it. If you think you cannot do it, you know the answer to that.
Yeah, and they always say that all the battles we fight starts in our minds, right? So same as Akin said, whatever it is you say of yourself or you think of yourself, you are right. You are right. If you think, oh, I can't do this, okay, sure, you can't do it. But if you say to yourself, you know what, I can do this. Sometimes it may not even start from believing that you can, but just saying it and just saying it back to yourself, it starts to make sense or resonate with your mind. And then it's like, okay, everything then aligns. And then you start to see yourself being able to do that thing, right?
Yeah.
So, it's just, I know that sometimes it sounds so simple, that, oh, you don't know what you're saying. It's easy for you because, right? For me, I'm such a self-doubter that it is really difficult for me to think or imagine that I can be successful in something. But it is as easy as changing the way you think, changing the things that you say to yourself, changing your language. It could be as easy as that, right? It doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes I see some people who are, successful and they're doing it so effortlessly. And I ask them, oh, what did you do? Or how did you do this? Or how did you achieve this? And they're like, oh, I just believe in myself. I'm like, is it that easy? But over time, we've also tested that. And we've seen that sometimes it's not about working harder for us. It's not about changing drastically something that we've done. It's just about saying to ourselves, okay, maybe we've just been doubting ourselves on this one thing. Maybe we've just been holding ourselves back by our own limiting beliefs, right? How about let's change the way we think about this? And let me tell you, within days, things shift for us and we start to see the results in the areas that we wanted to see the results, right?
I learned
So
something.
it doesn't have to be that complicated.
I learned something from Bob Proctor. He had a mentor who is Elle Nightingale and Lloyd Conant. And then he says, when these guys are reading, they open up a page and they stay on that page until what they are reading, it makes sense to them, until they change the perspective and interpret what they are reading. So looking at it time and time again on any particular issue, you begin to have a different perspective or different meaning to that situation or problem. And there's no problem that anyone is facing that is not written down in a book or that is not in a YouTube video. Yes. Somebody has gone through it before.
Yeah. And this also ties back to consistency, right? Consistently changing the way you think, because it will not just happen in one day, especially if you're the kind of person who doubts yourself a lot or who talks yourself out of things. The same way you consistently talk yourself out of things, you've got to consistently talk yourself into it, or talk yourself into success, or say, change the way you think, right? So the more you do it, the better you become at it. Right? Like I only started doing gratitude journals like 5 years ago. And prior to 5 years ago, I had been in this world 40 years and never been consistent with gratitude, right? But the moment I started that journey 5 years ago, I have been consistent with it 5 years in.
Just 5 years ago.
Exactly, right? So whatever you do on a consistent basis, you get used to it, you build that habit, and then it helps you to be successful. You get good at it. Thank you. All right. The next one we're going to be talking about is skills. Yes. We say invest in your skills and success will follow.
Wow.
Now,
this is a big one that I really like, because even as parents, there are things and there are many things you can learn. Early on when we still had our kids in kindergarten, we went for a school seminar and they talked
parenting
about
school.
Yes, if you want to see a change in the way you are interacting with your child, or you want to see a change behavior, you have to tell them,
over and over
remind
again.
them, and then wait for the behavior or the change to happen.
Yes.
But look at that. Tell, remind. Before you start seeing result.
And it's so tough, right? And this is why parenting is one of the hardest things you could ever do. Because imagine just being at this thing, saying the same thing over and over again, and not seeing a change like right away, right? It can be a little frustrating, but it is that, you know what? I understand. And this is one of the reasons why we went to that parenting school, because we're like, okay,
to upgrade our skill in parenting.
We chose that life, right? Nobody forced it on us. So how do we get better at it? How do we become better parents? So we went and we started to learn, okay, this is what you do. You say something over and over again. If you're going to the store, you know that any child is going to throw a tantrum if you don't buy them the thing that they want. So before you go into the store,
have a conversation
with them. Have it from home. And then when you get to the store, before you step in, remind them and say, remember, guys, we only came here for a bottle of milk and a few items. This is our list. We're not going to the toy area. We're not buying Kinder Egg surprises today. We're not doing this. So no tantrums. You're not going to say that. You're just only helping them to be prepared,
to stay focused,
right? And so
it's a skill. It's a huge skill as a parent to learn that. How much more when you now bring that, when you want to learn a new skill in the business as a small business owner. Oh my goodness, there's a lot.
There's so much, especially even as a small business owner. Let's use that as an example. You're like, okay, I'm trying to build my business. Oh, but there's this. Not only have I found my product that I'm passionate about, now I have to find a way to get my word out there. And the moment I say I've learned Facebook, posts, oh my gosh, there's this thing called Reels. And then now I've mastered Reels. Oh my goodness, there's this thing called Go Lives, right? And so things continuously crop up that, things are moving so fast, especially in the online space. And you say to yourself, okay, how am I going to keep up, right? It is just as simple as learning that skill. Once you've learned it, like right now, we create Reels like that. I remember when Reels first, I was like, another thing to learn. I don't think I can do this.
But guess what? In our workplaces, I remember like every 2 months or a month or every quarter, there's something new procedure, new way of talking, new line, new.
And we're doing compliance, compliance over and over, right?
Exactly.
It's like, this new thing, compliance. We do the
you
test.
have to upgrade.
You upgrade, right? All right. The last thing we're going to share with you guys today of our success mantras is patience. Patience is the key to unlocking long-term success. Listen, guys, I know that all around there's people who just want that quick, fast success, quick, fast money. I mean, we're like, this is things for kids. Kids want results now. They want everything they want right now. But how do you achieve long-term success or long-term happiness or long-term satisfaction? It is building something
long-lasting.
Long-lasting, and of course building it on a solid foundation. And patience is that key. Patience, right? Sometimes when our son comes and he's like, I want this, and we say, oh, we'll give it to you in 30 minutes. 30 minutes? 30 minutes is too long. Oh my gosh, I can't wait 30 minutes. And we say, set a timer. And we say, well, you've got to learn to be patient. I'm not gonna I know you want this thing right now, but it's not going to hurt you if you don't have it right now, right? So it is not that we couldn't give him that thing like right away, but as his parents, we're teaching him patience, teaching him that when somebody says they'll do something, you've got to trust and hope that they'll do that thing. You've got to give them the benefit of doubt that they'll do that thing. If you've waited out the time and they don't, they don't do what they said they'll do, then you know that, okay, maybe I can't trust this person with their word, or maybe I can't
need to have a conversation
with this person,
crucial conversation, and say, hey, we all know how that goes.
Exactly, right? So patience is that key to unlocking long-term success. Like, we can't stress this enough. Just be patient. Be patient that you started a business today. It could take 5 to 10 years before you start to see the lasting result. But isn't it worth it than spending 40 years of your life? And I'm not saying this to belittle people who are in the 9 to 5. We were in the corporate world for 20 years before we went into the entrepreneurial world full time, right? So we're not saying that it doesn't pay to do your 9 to 5, because it is actually a what's that thing? A takeoff ground for anybody who wants to go entrepreneurial. It's a takeoff ground for you. If you have a good 9 to 5, you're putting money away to say, okay, I want to invest in a business of my own and grow that business so that I don't have to work for 50 years of my life, right? So and that was it for us as well. So when you start it, you've got to patiently build that so that it can last. You look at people, companies like Ford and the rest of them, they've been around for hundreds of years, right? They've been around for decades and decades. If they weren't patient to passionately build something that could last, we would never hear about them today. They're dead and gone, yet we still know their name because it took the time to patiently build something that they were passionate about. And they could leave that for their children and their children's children and their children's children's children, right?
And it continues like that.
And it continues like
so
that.
Imagine if the farmers don't wait for the harvest.
Yeah.
What would be in the grocery store? Anyone? Do you know? Nothing will be in the grocery store. And then a loaf of bread, instead of buying it for $5, you might be buying it for $500. So patience has its, enormous value.
Yeah.
Just as every parent, a newborn baby, we wait for them to become 18, 20, 30. Patience. We have it in us.
Yeah.
So all of these 4 things we have mentioned, the consistency, the mindset, the skill, and the patience, we have it in us. It's just, we just have to raise our awareness to improve on it and make little changes, find help. We have a great help in our community.
Yes.
Yeah, and we clocked over 200K.
Yes,
by the way.
Last week.
Yeah,
oh my gosh. When Aki and I joined in 2019 in our private group, we were just 12,000 people when we joined in 2019. 5 years ago. And in just 5 years, we skyrocketed to 200,000 members. Wow. Like, it is just mind-blowing what the online space can afford anybody. And just speaking about the online space, I know that a lot of people out there are skeptical about everything they see online. Not everything online is a scam. Let me just tell you, like, we first came across this 5 years ago, didn't know anybody who had done it before, but we were desperate for a change at the time when we saw an opportunity online. And we thought to ourselves, okay, we don't know anybody who we're going to ask. Nobody's going to assure us that we'll find success. But the thing that stood out for us was the fact that there were things that we could research. There were information that we could actually look into to help us to make an informed decision. And we took some time, we looked through that information, and we decided, you know what? This is definitely something worth doing. And thank goodness that we took a chance on ourselves and this opportunity 5 years ago, right? And here we are today. We were able to let go of our 20-year-long corporate careers. Now we're full-time stay-at-home parents.
And we focus more on those who matter.
Yes, our family. Ourselves, like us as a couple. I know that there are couples out there who maybe they say, oh, they can't work with each other. We didn't, we also were with that train of thought, like, how can I be at home with this one person every single day of my life? But
but we can share some secret with you. If you are not in our community, send us a DM. We will share some ideas with you on how we have been able to find success. And today we have shared with you our success mantras.
So thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you guys for coming on and just showing us the love, all the loves and the likes that we're getting on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to Dottie for sharing our Go Live. God bless you. Yeah, so we'll see you guys again tomorrow, and we'll continue on this 90-day success challenge. So we hope you guys have been, able to get one or two things and just be inspired by our journey so far. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take good care and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Bye.